Alright, so the last couple of videos we were looking at triads and seventh chords on the keyboard. Let's transfer this over to a ukulele and get some of these same ideas out. So I'm going to do these instead of using a C chord like I did on piano. I'm going to do a D chord um, for the ukulele and make D chords, D major 7, D minor, all that type of stuff off a D instead of off a C. Just ukulele is kind of a little more suited to that. And there are other ways to play all these chords, but this will kind of get you started down the path of figuring out. There's really too many chord shapes to try to memorize them all, but once you start to learn how they work, then you can find anyone you need at any given point. And a lot of the shapes will kind of reappear again and again and again. So it's not as much memorizing as you'd think to actually memorize more things than you could possibly memorize, believe it or not. So, D chord. Many people play a D chord as such. So this is D major. That's a 1, 3, 5 out of a D major scale. Now D, we're going to have to deal with some sharps here. So we got two sharps in the key of D, F sharp and C sharp. So the D scale is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So we got F sharp and C sharp in here. So we'll have to deal with those, but once we get into the shapes of it, it's not going to matter too much. But I kind of want to know the names of the notes first, just so we can identify what, when we play this D chord, what notes are we playing and what function do they serve. Okay, so first thing we should do is find the root. Which one of these is the actual D note? We got a C string right here. There's second fret D. So there's your root. So the root is not the lowest note. This here is this would be A. Yeah. There's your fifth. So D, E, F sharp, G, A. A is the 5. So there's your root. There's your fifth. Is the E string. Second fret was F sharp. D, E, F sharp. That's your third. And then we have another A. So second fret on this string is the same as this string open. So right now we got your fifth, your root, your third, and another fifth. So we could, if you wanted to, once again, there's a couple ways to play this chord on the ukulele. You could do it with 3 fingers. You could switch these 2 fingers, which I would probably tend to do, which kind of it's the same notes. I've just switched which fingers I use, and that kind of helps you if you got fat fingers or a tiny little instrument like this. It kind of helps you squeeze in there a little bit. You could do that. If you're lucky to be born a little bit double jointed, you can bend it backwards and flatten it out and just get out of the way of that skinny string. Or we can replace this note because we already have it. We don't need 2 of them. If you keep going up the string, the next time you got the 5th, so if we keep going up, we'll eventually hit the root again, which is there at 5th fret. So I like to play the D chord this way, and it kind of gives you some other options. Oops, just lost my strap. Never touched a strap. So let's kind of take this shape of D major chord, and we're going to start building off of it a little bit. Actually, before we go to this, let's go back to the old shape. So we got the 5th, the root, and the 3rd. All right, if we know this, we know that if you flat the 3rd, you get a minor chord. So right there we got D major. Now that we know which one's the 3rd, we can flat it and make a D minor chord. And if you look on your sheet, this is the D minor shape. It's probably on there. Okay, so major, minor, major, minor. those you can do a lot of songs with just major and minor chords, and you can play. You can do your whole career with just major and minor chords. But there are cooler chords, or not cooler chords, but there's a lot of other chords that have a lot of neat colors to them that are available. All right, let's kind of work it through the same pattern we did, or the same order that we did in the previous video with the piano. So this is D major. If we pull that high root back one note, that's the 7th note of the scale. So all we've done here is gone D, F sharp, A, and now we have a C sharp on top. So we got major. If we add in that 7th note from the major scale, it's called a major 7. So now we have our 5th, the root, the 3rd, and the 7th. Now if we know which degree it is, we can start to manipulate these and play any kind of chord we want. So, major 7. If we flat that 7th note, we get a dominant 7th chord. If you flat the 3rd, we got a minor 7 chord. So I had to kind of refinger it a little bit, because I need to pull this note back. So there's minor 7. If we flat the 5th, and I got this, we got a minor 7 flatted 5th, or sometimes called half diminished. If I flat the 7 again, we got our diminished 7 chord. And this is really one of the cool if you're ever making a movie and you got to tie a lady to the railroad tracks and you're twisting your mustache, you're going to need some diminished chords. Now they're also, they sound very strange the way we're playing them here, where we're just kind of focusing on each type of chord. But in context, sometimes they'll sound completely normal, sometimes they'll sound a little weird. But like I said, there's other ways to play these on the ukulele, but major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5, diminished 7. And all these shapes are movable too. So here we got, D major 7, D sharp major 7, E major 7. D7, D sharp 7, E7, D minor 7, D sharp minor 7, E minor 7, D minor 7 flat 5, D sharp minor 7 flat 5, E minor 7 flat 5, D diminished, D sharp diminished, E diminished. You can keep moving them all around everywhere. So with these shapes, you can play every single chord on the ukulele, or at least of those types. There are other types of chords too, but those are a good starting point. And once you kind of see how those are built, kind of understanding the basic idea of those first 5 chords, everything else is kind of based off of that. So when you start adding 9s and 11s and 13s into that, you'll kind of see the progression of how it goes up. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just adding another note from the scale. So anyway, that's just a quick primer on extended chords on the ukulele.